evening, guys. Welcome back to season 2 of Shades of Reality. Kicking off this season is a very, very special guest by the name of Sir Terence Wallen.
Terence the most. Thanks for having
Terence
me,
Wallen, Terence Wallen, sorry. Yeah, was it Terence? You're rather Terence?
Come what you like.
Yeah?
Along
What you like?
you talk to me, yeah.
Founder of how many bloody organisations? You're like a powerhouse. You've got a lot going on. You've got businesses, Humanitarian, author, community leader, like inspiration. You've got a lot going on. So come on, tell us.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to do well and to throw myself into a good life and a good career from early. So I've been, great parent. My mum's always raised us well. So business and community and love and people has always very much been my foundation. So I've just literally just built from there because those key things are aspects of any successful business or any successful person. So that's how it started,
Yeah, so you think it comes down to like values and how you are?
Yeah, because you can't stop using them, can you? In every strength of life, those things have to come into play.
Definitely.
And once you've got them, you've got them.
Do you think that creates a kind of... do you think that can be a line of defence in a community as well? Having those morals and standards and, kind of values about what principles?
It's a massive line of strength. I'm not sure about defence, but I know it's a massive line of strength to have strong morals and to understand your value from young, growing up. And I think once you embrace those things, and I've always embraced this, I've always sort of loved loved the fact that I'm a young black man, loved all those things, and all those things just played a major part in my success, to be fair.
So you've always been like that as a child?
Yeah, ask anybody about me. Terry's always been...
Do you think that was installed in you from your parents and your environment?
I think the foundations were, certainly.
Already?
Yeah, always to love myself. And then as I got older, I had good mentors, good support systems, which then sort of just nurtured.
It's important.
Nurtured all those things that I already had. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So tell us, you're from Birmingham?
I am.
Handsworth?
I am.
Handsworth, born and bred.
Yeah, man.
As it can, in the media, it has drawn negative and positive.
Yeah.
Some people have come from it that's, creating a negative kind of... I wouldn't say they've created it, but...
You're going to get it everywhere, though, right?
affiliation, kind of things. How did you manage to kind of block all that out, considering you're from inner city Birmingham, culture, and how did you kind of navigate? How did that not affect you in a certain way? Because it has affected certain people that I know of, and it hasn't affected certain people. Some people, they've still made something, but how would you say, especially for the kids today, it's harder, I think, for them, don't you think? Yeah,
there's some element of listening to the outside world, so listening to the outer you rather than the inner you, that can then distort your own thinking. So it didn't plague me because I've always used whatever I've learned, whatever experiences, the journey. I've always used those as a positive, as part of the journey. So I grew up like in the 70s, so it was the era of Rasta. So that was the era of Rastafari. It was always about love, community, sharing.
12 tribes and
stuff.
It
was always positive. It was always positive. So that's what I know. So the fact that I'm from Handsworth, I'm not necessarily if I'm from Handsworth, I don't really play into people's connotations of what they believe Handsworth
narratives
or what they believe Handsworth to be.
That are made up.
Like anywhere else in the world. You know what I mean?
True.
You get great people from everywhere. Most of the greats were never from.
The nicest places.
The nicest places. So, and it's that very journey that's helped us to do well. And I love Handsworth as well. Handsworth is my place,
Yeah, it's a community. I used to work there.
Okay, it is a beautiful community, man. It really is.
I worked there, so it's different. I think when you're working there, living there, and I think in the environment, I was working in gambling. I was working in one of the bookmakers. So I don't know, different experiences. But my ex-boyfriend come from around there, and he was very community.
Yeah.
He's from Westminster Road, so he is so people, community.
Yeah, man.
So I knew that's where he's. Do you know what I mean?
There is some truth I believe in that. I'm also born and bred on Westminster Road, and I think everybody from Westminster Road has a sense of greatness. And I think everyone, and people might disagree with this, but everyone who went to Westminster School, there's something about that school and about that teaching methods, and about the teachers in that school that's really engraved in many. Like some people I know went to Westminster School are outstanding individuals, and I really believe that the school and the teachers in that school played a major part in our growing up. Enough of us as well, not just me. Like lots of us that went to Westminster School, so Westminster School took the one up, you know.
Does it still hold its values, you think?
I don't really, somewhat.
Changed, don't
somewhat. You know, I've done some stuff with the school recently myself, so obviously it changes, teachers change, teachers retire, but certainly back then it was the school like to contend with in terms of its depth, not necessarily its educational greatness, but its depth in terms of individuals, people, young people, standards, worth, values. I think Westminster School did so much for loads of us.
Big up Westminster School.
Big up Westminster School.
Big up. I'm going to go on to your mum passed away recently.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah.
Sorry about that. She had a plaque. She had a plaque. She got her own centre, hasn't she?
Yeah,
Community centre.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about that, because that's really, you know.
Okay, so my mother passed away a few months back, and in honour of, because I've always done stuff around legacy anyway, that's my thing. I did it for my brother Stead as well, who passed away in 2017. So my mum passed away, and in terms of her legacy, I know my mum was a very key individual in Handsworth at Westminster School. She's done over 50 years service at the school. So in honour, I approached the school and I said, listen, my mum's passed obviously, and there's something I want to do for her. And so we sat down, myself and the head, and we discussed, a few things that, could be done, and how it could practically be done, how it could financially be done, and all other bits of it. And because my mum was a dinner lady at school, as well as she was a playground assistant, she was also a dinner lady. So the dinner hall was kind of an ideal place to remember my mother through. Yeah. Everyone remember mum as a dinner lady. It just so happens that the what was the dinner hall in my time is no longer a dinner hall. So we had the old dinner hall refurbished.
Okay.
And did up now for young people that need sort of extracurricular support.
Oh, that's really
good. But the kitchen is still not the same kitchen, but the kitchen remains. Kept the kitchen because that's kind of prominent to what Mrs. Wallen is about.
Yeah, because she done the kitchen.
Right,
okay,
so the kitchen's the same, but the rest of it's changed somewhat. Oh. So and we named it the Gloria Wallen Hall in a massive flora of celebrations with
I've seen it on social media.
Myself, my brothers, sisters, my nieces, my nephews, the grandchildren, great-grandchildren. And it's a great legacy to have in Handsworth that, now which stands, so I always say, as of with myself, like I will become part of the history that the future will read about.
Right, yeah.
Because I'll make my mark, and same my mum made her mark. So now 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now, the kids is kids, and the grandkids is grandkids, and they'll always say, Mrs. Wallen, my grandmother, or my great-grandmother, my great-great-grandmother, that school hall is named after her. Yeah. And that's just a beautiful legacy to live. Yeah. So I work closely with the school to ensure that, that's maintained and kept going. So it's part of the whole legacy thing, you know what I mean?
Talking about making your mark, you have surely made a mark this year, haven't you?
Somewhat.
Yes. Sir Terence Wallen has got an article in Forbes magazine. Yeah. Well done.
Thank you. Yeah,
man.
Go
on to your author, your biographies.
Man from Handsworth.
Tell me how that come about. Tell me how you got to,
like I say to lots of other people, like this is all still part of a journey, and people tend to see the wins, right? Because the wins is what's shown, but it's all part of a journey. So I would not have hit Forbes had I not worked tirelessly for the last 35, 40 years. I would never have hit Forbes at this stage So it's all work and business and entrepreneurship and becoming financially stable and all the other bits that come with it, and having a strong family and being a good father and all the other bits that come with making me a man. So Forbes, like, I kind of see Forbes as just another layer. You know what I mean? Like, it's the height of, in terms of financial success and popularity now, but it's just part of my journey. Like, next year I'll be, we'll take down the Trump building in Manhattan and put up the Terry building. I'm saying, like,
you have to think
it's part of the journey, though, you know what I mean? So
man, definitely.
So hitting Forbes, basically what happened with Forbes was my publishing company had put out stuff anyway, as they do. So they'd put out stuff around my books and about, like, my success. But one of the editors at Forbes picked up that whenever I spoke around success, it was less about my net worth, it's more about my self-worth.
Social capital.
Right, and certainly, and it was definitely more about having emotional and spiritual wealth over financial wealth. So, like I say, like, financially I'm fine, but being financially stable doesn't mean that I'm stable as a human being.
Definitely not.
So Forbes picked up that. So the guy from Forbes called me for an interview and was speaking about my network and so on. But all I was literally saying to him is, success is more about what it feels like than what it looks like. Because if I really wanted to show my wealth, then I probably wouldn't be living where I live. I'd probably be somewhere else.
This is it, isn't it?
You know what I mean? I'd be on a yacht full of gal in bikinis.
It's about inside.
Exactly. So very much. So they're really impressed with that, because Forbes tend to showcase, say, millionaires around their yachts, and all the other bits. But it's really important to me that we go beyond that and start to look at people's emotional wealth and spiritual wealth over just their financial wealth. And I didn't want to be just that normal stat, another black man from Handsworth, rags to riches story,
made it at the ghetto.
Made it at the ghetto, made some money, blah blah blah. I didn't want to be that guy, because I'm not that guy. You know what I mean? I really wanted people to understand that this is part of a journey. It's a deeper process. It's a deeper thing than just having money.
Do you think that's what attracted Forbes to you?
Yeah.
I was going to say, because we're going into an era of I wouldn't say material world's going to fade out, because we're going to always need material possessions to live. It's just the way society's built. But I think we're going into a more society after lockdown. It's all about the spiritual wealth. People are taking notice of mental health now, and it's not about what you have, or it's about who's around you. The connections, the meaningful relationships you have.
Certainly.
That's what it's about now. I've always been about that. Obviously, I've always been about my money, because I've had to financially look after myself from a young age. So I've always been focused on that. But I've always been humble, and I've always known it's all about what's going on inside. So
certainly.
I think it's good that a lot more people are becoming more aware and promoting.
I think with social media, there's always going to be that push to look great.
Yeah, because people that's life though. Aesthetics is, I think it's a good. We're humans like creativity and art, so I think that's what comes with it.
But I'm saying, with social media, there's always going to be that push to look great, and by looking great, you also feel great. So that's not really a problem.
Yeah.
I think the problem lies when people aspire to look great rather than feel great, because because that is what you're seeing. So you're seeing you're seeing all the material things, but what you're not seeing is the blood, the sweat, and the tears.
What's going on inside?
Exactly. So I think social media has a part to play, but once again, social media plays a great part. If you use it well.
Yeah, I agree.
So it's important for me in terms of work-life balance, and that's what it really comes down to balance. So I've managed to manage my life very well and balance my life very well. Like, I literally don't do more than 4 hours work a day, period. 4 hours and me done. You know what I mean? So you're right, and this is what
soon. I'm getting there. I'll get there.
No, I'm saying this hour is part of the 4 hours.
No, seriously.
It's true though, and that's because the rest of my time I have to use it for all the things that really, really matter, which is like my family, my kids, my grandkids, and all other things that allow me to be balanced and stable. Because, you know, the reality is you can work so hard and become so unhealthy and never be able to enjoy it. You can work so hard, like most of our parents did. They worked up till 55, 60, and by the time they retire, it's just literally to sit down.
Time to like waiting to like die.
To chill. So, you know, it's about enjoying the life that we have now. You know, however you see fit to enjoy your life, but getting that balance correct. Yeah. Not necessarily working hard, but working smart.
Yeah,
you know
smarter, what I mean? Not harder. Yeah. I'm not going to go into your biographies now. Your books, author, you know, very successful, if I do say so.
Yeah, they've been
in Walmart, all around the world, Australia and all that.
Yeah.
You know, he's doing his thing across the globe. I like it. It's good, man, to expand. I really like that. Tell us where it started, Terry.
So the first book, which is obviously Now
I'm Famous, I've read that book.
Now I'm Famous, which is you know, it's got some gems in here. So basically, Now I'm Famous, that came about I think 2018, 2019, just after my brother Stead passed away. So that was part of my therapy because I felt like I felt like my mental health was being challenged. So which now my mental health has now become my mental wealth. So during that challenging time, it was good for me to write. I loved reading, but I was never really a writer as such. So I started to write more. And I thought, let me just put out my my autobiography, which is very much my story, which speaks in depth about the great fun time, but also speaks in depth about the very dark days that I've had and the mistakes I've made in life. And just kind of being open, because I think growing up, or certainly in my latter years, when other people were allowed to tell my story. And to be fair, a lot of my own pain is to my own detriment. I made some silly mistakes growing up. But it was very much still somebody else's story.
Yeah.
And I think to be able to also clarify some of the stories, actually either to dismiss or clarify some of those stories that were said previously, I say it myself.
Yeah.
And I always say...
Do you think accountability is important?
Hell yes.
Yeah.
They always say, like, once you accept your flaws, nobody can use them against you. And enough of my flaws are in this book. And it's out there. You know, and I think once it's out, it's like a weight off your shoulder. It's out there. You know, you can always quote me in it, because I've said it in my book.
Yeah.
So I can't lie, because I've said it.
Do you think that was the start off of going on to 60 days?
365 days of truth,
365 days of truth, and then going on to your truth planner.
Because I think after Now I'm Famous, actually just at the same time, with Now I'm Famous, I got a publishing deal for 3 books anyway. So with the publishing deal, they wanted 3 books, any 3 books, but it weren't necessarily going to be the 3 books that I put out, because I had different books that I've started to write, so I had bits of writing block, or different things came into my life, so I was unable to finish them. So be that, you know, family issues or my mum's passing, so I was unable to finish the books that I've started. And even then I realised then it's got to be organic. Yeah. What comes then comes then. Yeah. So it just so happens that the success of Now I'm Famous, like literally worldwide, Australia, India, China, everywhere, the success of Now I'm Famous, and people just think, okay, who's this guy? And then secondly, I think if you Googled me, you would have been able to relate the name Terence Wallen to other stories in the media. Yeah. You know what I mean? So with that then, I think people thought, okay, let me buy the book, let's hear his side. Yeah, definitely. Let's hear his side. So it works, you know, media's media, so it works. And then with 365 Days of the Truth now, it's also part of my own personal therapeutic process, was to give myself positive affirmations every day to get myself out of a very, very dark place where I felt like I'd literally lost control. And I'm so used to being in control. You know, if all your life you've been very much in control of your surroundings, in control, and your friends and your peers and your family see you as that guy, person, and then all of a sudden you're no longer that guy, and then they can see, and even if you're pretending, they can still see it. So I did a whole period of faking, so to speak, but my real ones could see this ain't the Terry that we know, something's going on. So with that, I started to write every day, and I literally had to write and read stuff and get up every morning, look in the mirror and say to myself, you know, I used to love to do the I ams, you know, I am great, I am worthy, and so on and so on. And with that, literally through this whole year, even though I did it for more than a year, of reading stuff and putting out positive affirmations every day, I started to put it out on my WhatsApp every single day. every day, every single day, and it was, you know, people sort of messaging me back, saying, "Oh, it's great, but I think what a lot of people didn't realise, it was that I was in therapy and it was my therapy. And just like education, I don't rely on the education system or the schools to father or to educate my child. They do their bit, but when my child comes home, they also have to learn. So same with therapy. Myself being in counselling, which I'm cool about being in counselling, and I think I'll just stay in counselling because I like it, and they like me. So I think like being in counselling, it helped me to go to counselling, speak to a total stranger for an hour about whatever I want to speak about, and come home and speak to myself. And it was just about getting that balance right. So I didn't just rely on the counselling to help me get through my days, as it helped myself, self-help. And it's literally just the truth, and some of the stuff is literally how my day went. If I got up and had a shitty day, can I say shitty? I've said it twice now.
Say what you like.
Okay, bleep it out.
No, it's insensitive.
Let's make you have loads of bleeps.
It's real and raw.
Okay, so 365 days is like, so my shitty days are in here. I speak about the great stuff. I speak about how I feel. I speak about relationships. I speak about everything really, and that's what this is a book about. And you can just, it's a page a day. You have one, right?
No, yeah, but I haven't started it yet. I've got so much going on. I'm going to read it I'm definitely going to read it this summer. But I kind of get that from you because I got your number, haven't I? So I get. Okay, so you
see it. Yeah. Though not everything I put on my on my daily statuses are in the book. So you must read the book as well.
No, I will read the book.
Right. Yeah.
So 90 Days of Truth. Tell us a bit of that.
Yeah, the 90 Day Truth Planner is really a bomb planner, which is basically lovely bright yellow, which suggests energy and brightness. And really, this is very much a planner of a difference. The planner, it's not only about business, it's about getting the balance right. And that's the reason why I would say my planner is a truth planner, which is kind of separate. Because I have a planner myself, which I've used.
So have I. I think we all should have that.
I agree. And it's good to document, and but I think with the difference with my planner, and I'm not just saying to sell it, because I think everyone should have a planner, not just mine, I have a planner.
Everybody, yeah.
But I think my planner is, though it tells you around your goals and your achievements, you must also be able to document your feelings and take time out for the other things. So whereas most planners, put 2 hours on to do this topic or do that topic, I'm also telling you to find time to breathe, find time to appreciate nature, find time to meditate, find time to pray, turn off social media for an hour, or message 5 loved ones in your phone.
So there's a lot of well-being.
Loads and loads of well-being, and that's why the planner has been so successful, because it's slightly different from the majority of planners on the market. And
I need to get one.
Yeah, you do. So
I need to get the collection, don't I?
Yeah. So the planner works in terms of getting the balance right in your life. And the reason my planner works is because it's something that I've tried and tested. It's not something that I've just thought up. This is what I've been doing. I've been finding that balance correctly in my life to be able to turn it into a planner. So though I got one foot in business, I'm still very much a humble level guy who still takes the time out to not just chase the bag and chase the money, but also to chase spiritual and emotional wealth, to love my family, and to try and be an upstanding guy.
I think that's what you need, balance and humbleness. And
certainly.
It's key, isn't it?
100%.
I think we need a bit of, don't be too modest, but it does help, I think.
Yeah, of course it does. I think we have to, I think in this day and age now, with so much, because there's a lot going on, everything's fast, isn't it? Everything is fast. Fast food, fast travel,
fast music, fast
Wi-Fi, fast TV, everything's fast, isn't it? And I just think we have to find a chance to slow down and find ourselves. Because we could literally burn out, and you literally can burn out, but with the
planner,
90 Day Truth Planner, gives you a chance to slow down and just look how your days are in terms of the balance of your days.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Chasing the bag is one thing, but you could chase that bag and get the bag and never be able to carry it.
So Terry, you mentioned a bit of where we're going to go back now, because you know how it's about well-being, which is where you've got now. Yeah, you've become this self-made entrepreneur. You've got hands in a few pies, businesses, community. You've got organisations for AIDS.
In a few patties.
In a few patties.
Not pies.
All right, patties, beef, chicken, saltfish. Yeah, you've got your hand in a few pies. You do work with AIDS.
HIV/AIDS.
HIV. So yeah.
Yeah. That came about. My friend passed away of the latter stages of HIV, we call it now, and that prompted me to set up a charity called BROSIS, short for Brothers and Sisters, which specifically deals with African Caribbean living with HIV/AIDS. So with that, I threw myself into that line of work, secured millions of pounds to be able to deliver this as using culture as a form of treatment around the world for people living with HIV/AIDS. Because as a culture, it's not something that we necessarily talk about. When's the last time you heard on any talk, on any show, anywhere, just in general, on any media, around the effects of HIV on black people?
No.
Nobody speaks about it. We have World AIDS Day in December. You might see a few pictures of Africa, but really that's it.
It's not diverse enough, isn't it, to the culture?
Right. And I think we as a culture have really pushed that to the back of our minds. Even though, we have a lot of hyper masculinity, you'd think it comes hand in hand. You'd think it comes hand in hand, but evidently...
It's culture though, when it installed in us, I think it's our...
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
So with that charity work, it's done great. I'm in Namibia, I'm in Malawi, and I'm obviously here in the UK, just supporting people with HIV/AIDS. So it's like a whole network of clinical practitioners, nurses, doctors, and it works. And in Africa, we actually do a tournament called the Pamadzi Cup, which Pamadzi means togetherness. So we do a cup which literally it's like a tournament. It's like the World Cup of Namibia, Malawi, and we mobilise the hospitals to on site. We've used the Namibia National Stadium. We've used like an massive open acres of land in Malawi, where we've turned it into a football pitch, which we've developed, and we have thousands, because it's a free event, so thousands come, and all the hospitals and the clinics and everyone mobilises also there, so you can come and get free testing, everything's there. So it works out for us, because then we know the reality is if you were to give in any amount of money, you're more likely to going to buy food than go and get yourself checked. Which is the reality of it.
Sense.
So by mobilising, having a free event, which is the means of engagement, it then brings everyone in, and then the hospitals can come on site and do their testing and then signposting those who have, we've done it, and the results have always been massive. Like thousands turn out to be HIV positive that never knew, and that would never have known had that event not taken place, because they'd never get tested. So that's part of my whole, so
amazing,
a part of that in my humanitarian area, which is probably, people may not think so, but my humanitarian side probably is more bigger, and it means more to me than my business side. I think my business takes care of itself, doesn't it? I think being a humanitarian, it's for me to take care of others, my business takes care of itself. So I do lots of other different, Jamaica. My parents are Jamaican, both my mum and my dad. So I do lots of stuff around sponsoring schools in Jamaica and stuff. So man.
You're back and forth.
Back and forth, I just love. I love my humanitarian work. The inner, I don't know, that lovely feeling you get when you're doing stuff like that. It's unbelievable. And that's when I feel. To be fair, that's when I feel like where the real value is in being Terence Wallen. It's what I can do with either my success or what I can do with my popularity, just to bring about change somewhere else. It's not about creating followers. No. A real leader builds other leaders. And that's what we do around the world. Like, we create other leaders. And if you notice, I say we because it is a we that
definitely.
We create other leaders.
Different things to the table as leaders, and we're all good in different departments, I think.
Exactly.
I want to go back on. So you got out of, because it's about mental well-being and stuff. You said that you're very high. You've got a celebrity ex-partner.
Yeah.
So a lot of what was said would you say was surrounded, because I knew about you through that.
Okay.
So I knew of you.
Yeah.
Like, didn't know you, but I knew. I'll tell you, because of that story. Yeah. How did that affect you, the negativity, and how did you come back from that? Because you said that you brought up in Handsworth, nice community, but how did that experience, would you say it's just a childhood thing and you was young? And
well, I think, to be fair, being from Handsworth, such close knit, so nothing gets past nobody. Everybody talks, and that period of my life, it taught me so much about myself. Like, on the back end of it. So even during the process of, the media outside my house, and all the other bits and bobs, it allowed me to self-reflect, because I had to realise that one, I'm human, two, I'm gonna make mistakes as life goes on, But 3, it's more important that I recognize the mistakes that
accountability again.
That I'm making, yeah. And to be accountable for my errors. So, and it was never, you know, you can look back through the history of media. We're talking about a good 20 years back now. If you could look back through the history of the media, you know, I never made bad statements, never.
No, I didn't hear nothing from
never,
you. Just,
you never. I understand what it's like to be a mother, and I understand what it's like for me to be wrong and to perpetrate my bad behavior on someone else. So what is there for me to say other than sorry? What is there for me to do?
Nothing.
And so my take on it was very much get myself sorted and seek forgiveness, and which I did, and which I got.
Yeah, you did, because you turned your life
around. Right.
So
and I also got forgiveness from the people I've hurt. Because I've always said, like, though I've been the hero in many stories, I've also been the villain in other people's lives, and I have to accept that.
I think we all have in a certain way. Some people like to. Sometimes it's a defence mechanism. It might be a reaction, whatever reason.
Yeah.
But we've all played a villain in someone's life. But I think it's about taking accountability for it. It's not the problem. It's never the problem. I think it's how we deal with problems.
Exactly.
Do you understand?
True,
Problems are part of what's, especially in the society we live in. We can't. Do you know what I mean? It's not designed for us to go straight and narrow and be okay all the time.
No, it's not going to be like that.
So how we deal with them things when it doesn't go okay is vital, and I think that's the most important thing. And I say it at work as well, when I work in psychiatric ward, when they kick off. So you can kick off all you want, but how are we going to do going forward?
So in terms of effect, it affected me, it affected people around me.
Yeah.
But it was lessons for us all to learn, though. Like, lessons for us all to learn. It was a lesson for me to learn, lesson for the people who perhaps see me as this golden child, to realise that behind closed doors I wasn't that golden. So it's a lesson for them as well, to learn that, okay,
it's not what, you
know what I mean? Like, what he portrays to us is because of my relationship with him.
It's different.
Right, you know what I mean? My energy with you is going to be different from my energy with somebody else.
Yeah, I think everyone's
right,
like that.
So with that said, I think it was a lesson for us all to learn. Even herself, she would have learned a lot of lessons through that time as well, her strengths and her weaknesses, and as a strong black woman, she's come out such a bad situation, which I have to take responsibility for, in terms of those bits
back then,
and she's come out flying colours, as a solid human being. So we both learn, because if you look at it now, look where we both are now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, just lessons, man. Just lessons.
Definitely,
lessons.
I agree. So, what's in store for the future of Terry Wallen? Any more books to come? I
have about
humanitarian work, business ventures.
Yeah, I got a few. I have a app. I got an app coming out called the Truth app. It's coming, which is literally a combination of all 3 books. So you get, instead of so for
Should I wait for the app then? Should I just wait for the app?
No, well, you're fortunate to have my WhatsApp. So, but I mean, like, instead of just a WhatsApp, you're going to get it via app, and you're going to get messages, you're going to get prompts, and so on, and a few tools. So I've got my app coming out. I've got Truth Water, which is literally a brand of water, which is, it's less about making the money off the water, but the back of it is to create truth wells, which is just free access to water in third world countries. So I'll be putting them in the countries I already work in. So there'll be access to free water in Jamaica and Namibia and Malawi. So it's just building taps, basically.
Big things.
In the city areas, predominantly in rural areas, but yeah. So it's Truth Water. So I've got Truth Water coming out, the Truth app. What else I've got doing? Obviously my humanitarian work won't stop. I've got about another 4 books. I got a title called How I Became King. Yeah. That is really to empower black men. Black boys, black men, like, to take ownership of your kingship, and this is my crown today, like, your base will capture your crown, whatever it is you want to wear. So it's about, how I became king. I've got that book coming out. I have the phytology of fatherhood. So it's not the psychology, the phytology, and just about how sometimes the struggles of being a father.
I like that.
The struggles of being a father. So I've got the phytology of fatherhood. And I got my other book, which is called The Poor Millionaire. And this is all exclusive, by the way, so no one knows about these. I'm just giving
I've got something exclusive then.
Yeah, all 3 exclusive, because I never give out my titles. So here we are for you. But I mean, I got another book called Poor Millionaire, which is literally similar to what we spoke about today. Yeah. It's regardless of what my status is. You can be a poor millionaire.
Spiritual privileges as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Terry, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Made it, yeah?
I made it.
Look out for Terry Wallen.
Okay.
More to come.
Yep. And thank you, and thank the team, and I want to thank my team as well, because I've got a beautiful team behind me. I could never got here without them. Impossible. Don't be fooled by me being the face of this.
Yeah.
I have a fantastic team behind me who makes it all work.
I think we all have people to support us.
You'd be surprised that some of us don't.
Yeah, and all when they're still...
Yeah, you'd be surprised.
Don't get me wrong, I've had to find my way.
Yeah.
People that I've had around me that wasn't supposed to be around me, but you got to find your way and listen, learn and know what's good for you. And
but I genuinely believe I've got the best team in the world. Let's put it out there.
Okay.
Thank you.
See you later, guys. Thanks for watching.
Bye.